Welcome back to Full Court Tennis Advantage. I'm Brian Teacher, Australian Open champion, longtime coach, and founder of the Full Court Tennis app. Today, I'm diving into something that not only saved my career, but continues to help elite athletes gain an edge, and that is yoga. At age 19, I faced a major crossroads at UCLA. I had just won the Pac singles and doubles, and my back was in rough shape, okay? Surgery was on the table, but instead of going under the knife, I turned to Hatha yoga. This was back in the early 70s before hot yoga and vinyasa flow were mainstream. I got into it 4 days a week. I'd practice 90 minutes a session, 45 minutes of standing, activating my shoulders, hips, legs, and balance, and then go to the floor for 45 minutes, focusing on spine strength and flexibility. Over time, my back stabilized, my flexibility improved, and my breathing became more efficient. Yoga became part of my daily tour routine. I'd do it 30 minutes before practice or matches, and then 40 minutes after a match or training. And today's pros are doing it too. Yoga just isn't fringe anymore. It's foundational. Just look at Novak Djokovic. He's a devoted yoga and meditation practitioner. And then you got Tsitsipas, who uses yoga for mental clarity and faster recovery. And same with Świątek, Alcaraz, and Sinner. All use breath work, mobility, and mindfulness practices rooted in yoga. So what type of yoga works best for athletes? Well, there's Hatha yoga that is foundational, slower paced, focused on alignment, breath, and static holds. That's what I used to practice. And then today there's also vinyasa and Ashtanga yoga, which is more dynamic, builds flow, strength, and coordination. Yoga is breath-based, all through the nose, slow, deep, and intentional breathing. When you control your breath, you control your body. And when you control your body, you master your emotions, and that opens the door to mental clarity, visualization, and resilience under pressure. So what are the reasons why every player should try yoga? Well, number one, it increases your flexibility and mobility. It opens your tight hips, which tennis gives you shoulders and spine. Number two, it gives you balance and stability, improves your single leg strength and body awareness. Number three, it helps to prevent injuries, protects joints, decompresses the spine. Four, it gives you breath control, helps recover faster and stay calm under pressure. And number five, mental focus, builds discipline and emotional control. Start every session with pranayama breath regulation to open up your lungs and get your blood circulating. There are many breathing exercises to choose from. Always warm up with easier poses before dialing into real strength and deeper poses. If you can't breathe smoothly in a pose, you're pushing yourself too hard. If it hurts, you got to stop. Mild discomfort is okay. Pain is not. I'm going to talk about a few standing poses I really like because they work on flexibility, strength, and balance. And this is exactly what you need in tennis, and especially when you're stretched out. These standing poses are Hatha yoga, but they're also more dynamic type poses, and I do them after I've warmed up and definitely not the start of a practice. The first one is the standing bow. So you're on one leg, kind of like in a dancer's pose, and you're grabbing your foot from behind you and you're kicking it up over your head. Now, that really works on your flexibility and your strength of your standing leg, and you got to really keep your breathing normal, okay? It sharpens your mind, your focus, your patience, and determination. Then I love the warrior pose, okay? There's three different versions of the warrior pose. They all build strength, stability, presence of mind, and it enhances your courage. Okay? That's what I call it, the warrior pose. And then the balancing stick pose is one of my favorites. So you're standing on one leg and you're standing like a T and you're stretching forward with your arms together and your one leg is behind you, trying to be like an erect T. That's very hard. It cultivates your laser-like focus and concentration along with balance and strength. And then you've got the revolved triangle pose, which kind of builds hamstring strength in one leg and also flexibility, and you're stretching your core and your spine. It improves your clarity and your equilibrium. Then if you go into basically like a downward dog, that's great for your shoulders and your spine flexibility, and it helps to kind of reset and energizes your body and mind. The tree pose is also a great one. It builds balance, hip opening, and leg strength, and encourages calm and centered presence, because if you're not breathing properly and you're not focused on your standing leg, keeping it strong, you're going to get off balance. Then after that, I always would move to the floor to, work on your spine strength, which is super important. But you got to first kind of warm your body up and do the standing poses before you get on the floor. So I love the Cobra, the spine opener, basically, which it kind of strengthens your spine and your glutes, and it builds confidence that you're kind of now loosening up. Your back feels great. And then you've got the bow pose on the floor. You're grabbing your feet from behind you and kicking up over your head. And that also increases your flexibility and strengthens your spine. It kind of energizes your body. I also love the Superman pose on your stomach, arms out like Superman to the side, almost like you're 747 taking off. Your feet are together, your legs are together, and then you're lifting up and using your whole core to see how high you can lift up off of the floor. Of course, your hips are on the floor. And it's a tremendous core strength right there. And then I go into the camel pose, which is one of the all-time poses in yoga, but you got to do it when you're really warmed up. It strengthens your thighs and back, and it kind of relieves a lot of anxiety and tightness in your shoulders, in your spine, in your low back. It's amazing. And then we do the opposite pose, the rabbit pose, which is lengthening your spine the opposite way. So you're grabbing your heels, you're pulling on your heels, and you're rolling over like a rabbit. And so it stretches your spine and decompresses the vertebrae. In yoga, we do a lot of opposite poses, right? So you stretch your backward and then you do forward stretching. All of this soothes your nervous system and brings introspection and calm to your mind. The final pose we always do is Savasana, or corpse pose. You're lying on your back, your arms at your side like a corpse, right? And you're just breathing. And this is where you don't fidget. This is where all the benefits of the practice, the energetics to reset your nervous system, where your mind completely releases and you're at peace. Yoga isn't just about stretching. It's a system that integrates strength, breath, flexibility, and mindfulness. It healed my body, kept me on tour, and it's helping today's best players stay balanced, recover faster, and play with more presence. So whether you're rehabbing, getting sharper, or simply trying to stay grounded, yoga can help. Make it part of your game and watch what happens. Thanks for listening. I'm Brian Teacher. Namaste, and see you on the court.